For Jesus Warriors Club, Yajuj and Majuj, in the eyes of a comparative religious education layman, that's me. I'm just a layman. So whatever I say is open to criticism, is open to correction. I'm not an expert, I'm just a layman. As we talk of comparative religion, we talk of the origin of these religions, the visitations. Because in all these religions, it is enlightenment at given ages. So you cannot rule out one and say this is not godly, because enlightenment came at different times. That's why these religions began at different times. I have used For Jesus Warriors Club because I'm going to talk of 3 religions that have a common person. They have Yeshu as a big wizard. They have Jesus as a savior and a messiah. And they have Isa bin Maryam, a very important prophet that during the last days, when that big war would have been fought, he would come to get his people and put them to safety. So these 3 religions, that is Christianity, Judaism, which was born by Yahwehism. I know many people from that will not want me to say that, or they will say they don't belong to that, but it was Yahwehism, which included the children of Jacob, all the 12. But later, when people came from exile, the very first exile of the king of Lebanon, not Lebanon, what do you call this place? Babylon. That's when, after some time, there was a reformation, and the Jews had a conference and whatever, and they came up with Judaism. So originally it was Yahwehism, worshippers of Yahweh. They remained worshippers of Yahweh, but as a Jewish sect. So Judaism came first. And then a shift to believers of the cult of Judaism, of Yeshu, who call themselves Christians. You can go to the past videos, you'll get that. I explained what Yeshu and why he was called a wizard, and you can understand from that miracles and whatever. So from there, 570 years later, a prophecy of Messiah produced the Prophet Muhammad. So these 3 are interrelated. I am talking about Majuj and Yajuj and Majuj, because of an important book that is born from the very first sect of Yahwehism, which became Judaism, which gave birth to the 2 others. I'm talking about a holy book called the Quran. The Quran talks of 3 things which I would like to put for you clearly. I'm a Christian, but I said we are all devotees. The Muslims are also Christians because they also believe in Isa bin Maryam. I may be called a Muslim because I am a devotee. So these words interrelate. And to the Jews, you can call them Muslims because they are also devotees. And they can fall within this, but because they don't take Yeshu or Jesus as a Messiah, the 2 religions, Christianity and Islam, take Jesus as a Messiah. That's one thing that the Christians and the Muslims have never known. I have heard on the streets people having conferences arguing about you are Christian, and no. he is the same Messiah who is supposed to come during the last days. So, the other one of Judaism waits for the Messiah. To them, the Messiah has not come, but they recognize Yeshua was a contender of some things and will perform miracles. Those miracles resulted to them seeing him as a great wizard. So, when we talk about these things, I'm starting with the Quran. I'm going to include the others. They talk about creation. And they talk about the earth. And the earth being on the back of a well. A big well. And I could not understand in the beginning. I was of the argument, but I came to realize the prophet saw it correctly. Because the earth is moving. And the way it's moving with the other planets, we can't understand. They are in space. Some say it's because of magnetism, but there is something holding us because all the planets seem to be on a straight line. That is an interesting thing. So there is something balancing. And that is what, to him, he saw as a well that the earth is resting. And interesting, just like a well, this is what scientists may not tell us, or it may not have been said, but to me, my feelings are, as they move through space, because the sun and all the planets are moving through space. And in the beginning, we believed that space had nothing. But after visitations and rockets going there, space has matter in little patches scattered all over. So, there is nothing like a complete vacuum because there is matter. My belief is just like in the ocean, when the whale moves, it moves catching prey, catching krill. I also have a feeling maybe as the planets and the sun move, they also move. And because of their gravity, wherever they go, they collect matter along the way. It's common sense that when you move and you can be able to, it's like when you are moving with a troller's net. Anything that will be caught in it is caught in it. These planets and the sun and everything has gravity. Where they are moving, there is matter. It's my belief also as they move, they also attract the material around them. This is common sense. It doesn't have to be that much scientific. So there is something, a force, that is holding the earth, that is in movement. And that is what he interpreted as it being on the back of the well. Something big, moving with all of them. And then, there is something about creation from water. I talked of programming. And we have got entities that we believe live in water, the jinn. In Kiswahili, Maji is water. I don't know, I think Kiswahili is a language that originated between the Bantus and the Arabs who intermarried. So I'm going to, I don't know in Arabic, but I'm going to put it from the Swahili point of view. Maji means water. And the entities that are found within the water are called majini. And these majini sometimes are used by people who are doing witchcraft to be able to access. So it is Maji, and those that are programmed from Maji are Majini. Water, water spirits. Marine, marine spirits. Get it? So that covers that. There are those that are created from fire. They say the jinn and the others, but to the Kiswahili it goes with water. but they are entities that are created from fire. I wanted to argue about that, but later after I got to understand, because I am the one who came up with what I'd learned and what I'd come across, and realized also, just like the others have realized, that different elements can be programmed. There can be a light being, there can be a water being, I don't know if there is a soil being, in different entities. But I asked myself, in the Bible we are told of seraphim, and when I looked in the dictionary and these other places, I found out that a seraphim is a fiery snake. It's a snake made of fire. It's an entity programmed out of fire. When the Bible talks of Lucifer, it talks of him walking on the fires, the coals of heaven. So it's a fire being. Having said that, I want to come to what every geographer and every historian knows. In geography, we are told the earth was one mass and the ocean was a different mass, Gondwana land. And later, due to tectonic movement, which are detected, they moved apart. Geographers know that. Historians know that. I'm looking at it from a different point of view. Landmass, Gondwana land. I'm trying to look at it this way. Africa and Asia was connected until the Suez Canal was made. So Africa and Asia was permanently connected. Suez Canal was not made long time ago. Was actively connected. Europe and Iceland and Greenland, the land where people are told by Ericsson the Red that there was a lot of things growing there to entice them to settle there. So they called the place Greenland. Ericsson the Red, father of Thornton Ericsson, the first man to have stepped in America. What I'm realizing is Greenland, Iceland are all interconnected to Canada. So there was that connection. And then if you connect through Canada, you are able to go through the mainland. And the Panama Canal was made recently. So there was a connection to South America. Could we deny there could be a connection between those islands and whatever getting to the South Pole? My belief is that the world landmass has always been interconnected. I don't know about the tectonic movements. That's why geographers, and the earth is continuously creating. That's the most interesting thing, because the ocean floor is being created. Scientists will tell you that. There is lava, and this place is being created. From what happened when there was the race to space, the Americans tried to reach the Earth's lava, they could not. The Russians tried, they could not, because they realized there is a heat shield that protects, so that when you are drilling, the drilling rig and everything becomes soft like spaghetti. Could this be the molten rock that the Quran talks about, that was built by a great king called Zulkarnain. Yeah. A wall that was to separate the Yajuj and Majuj from humankind. Because what has been happening, there have been policies that have made us behave like Yajuj. Those that came and they drank every water, they consumed everything. Let's look at man's civilization. During the Iron Age, people from Spain, the surrounding areas, cut wood extensively, making copper, making iron implements, smelting. Until now, those countries almost have no forests. We consumed, we didn't replace. Now we have the industrial age, which has relied more on petroleum and a bit on electricity. We have consumed. But those who have the knowledge have not told the rest of the world the truth. They have extracted oil, left vacant places which have crashed in, producing a lot of smell, and where those things crash in, it's very difficult to have living things operating on that zone. They call it skunking. Countries that are giving oil, empty spaces are being left within. Nobody knows what will happen. Will they be skunking in those areas? And if there is skunking, what happens? Nobody talks about that. It's extraction of oil. But this oil now has become another problem. It is a source of warfare to us. We are killing one another because of oil. Like the Quran talked of Yajuj and Majuj. If there is skunking and there is a bare hole where the oil was covering, being a barrier, an insulator between the heat of the earth and us, we shall be exposed to the heat. What's most likely to happen is that the life will not be able to be supported the way we know it. And in some places there'll be no life at all. Deserts have become drier. Though some people are saying that in Africa, I don't know, satellite was showing that there were some places that were greening up, but deserts have become drier. Could it be because of this extraction that we are doing and we are not realizing? Causes of our present wars have been because of oil. Even the one being fought, we have excuses because Iraq was a builder of weapons of mass destruction. It was overrun, and every place found there was no nuclear weapon found. There is this other country that is a maker of also weapons of mass destruction, and there is talk of occupation. But after the first one was occupied and no weapon of mass destruction was found, a weapon of mass use was found in the form of liquid. But in the extraction, could it cause destruction? In this other extraction, could we be nearing something that we would like to cause closeness to it? And just like I said, the Bible, the Quran, and I think maybe the Torah too, talks of beings of fire, beings of water. I don't know what we are. Could be coal, carbon, things like that, and water. Planets are continuously creating, just like Earth is creating a barrier between the water and the magma at the center. Could this exposure to closeness to Earth be a release to fire programmed creatures that we hear of? People used to talk of dragons that would move producing fire, and we say those were myths. But now that we know anything can be programmed into entities, could we eventually expose ourselves to creatures unknown to us, to entities unknown to us, that have been kept off by this buffer zone, because we are getting closer to them? Apart from that, could we be moving towards creating a scenario that would make Earth be destructive around us? Because there is one thing that is there. We have cheated ourselves that we can finish Earth. Okay, there are talks of these nuclear bombs exploding and the planet running out of control. But you know, there was a time when I was going through these things and I laughed. Because it was said that when a nuke is hit out of space, all the targeting equipment of most of the missiles will be fried. So, if they are fried, can we totally fight a complete nuclear war? Because these weapons have to go to space. And those missiles that hit them from space. So if you hit several, it means that all the targeting equipment are fried. So you go back to a conventional war, but you have caused a lot of damage to Earth. But if we exceed, the planet is able to regenerate itself. Because from the myths we have had, they say water was finished by the wind, Earth was finished by water, Earth could be finished by fire. It can be able to reprogram, because what has been happening, we have seen fossils of animals we cannot be able to reconstruct. We're trying. We know the animals because they were frozen in ice, like in Siberia. Complete frozen mammoths have been found. Complete. So there are animals that look like elephants, mammoths, that would have gone with the ice age. There are other animals fossilized. I realized in the northern part of Canada there are many fossils that can be found. The animals unknown to us. We can only reconstruct from their fossils what they would have looked like. Meaning the Earth has been experimenting. And if the experiment is not conducive, it delays. And why am I saying the Earth has been experimenting? In the past religions that we learned, there was this religion, Christian, that believed that the earth and everything, the universe, was made by God in the purest form, called Sophia. And looking down on it, I realized Sophia is wisdom. We say in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. This is a description of Sophia. Sophia is wisdom. And when Sophia interacts in some of Sophia's unconscious being, then an entity, that is how they used to say it, called Demiurge. They say that the God that creates is Demiurge. that is the material world is formed. So from the demiurge, we have the material. So the material is formed from the wisdom, the pure form. Interesting, it is a description that was there before. And with that description, it means that everything is an entity. The sun is an entity, the earth is an entity with feelings, with whatever and everything to parents at that level. Programming us, programming other things. And we are not very, very important because as an entity that is from earth, getting rid of us and beginning something else is not a big thing. It's not a big thing. So as we move towards the electric age, because electricity has been there, but now it's totally taking over. But there are those stuck in the past. They don't want to let go of the oil because they made lots of money during that time. And they are afraid their monetary empires will collapse. So you have to be stuck in the oil economy, whether it will cause war, whether it will threaten the end of the world, you have to be stuck in the oil economy. That's what's happening. Being put and interpreted in relation to some of the things in the holy books. I wish to say this. In religion, to be informed in advance means that you are being given a chance to change, to avoid that situation. So these things, we were informed about Yajuj and Majuj, the system, and the system is an oil system where those with the oil money want to suppress the others and they don't even want the other technologies to grow up because their empire of money will collapse. So anything goes, but their empire has to start. They own the money out of oil. They want the money out of oil. My idea was some of these oil producing countries have gone high-tech. They are now using things that do not require oil. Electric cars are there. Electric motorbikes are there. They are even now in Africa. Electric flying cars are in those developed countries. And soon, maybe it may not have been made so open. We may be having electric using planes. We are always told later. So, my take is, since oil is bringing so much conflict and wars, why don't we embrace this new technology that has come? It is interesting that on Christmas last year, when things had not reached this point, we didn't know that Iran would be invaded. We didn't know that Israel would be fighting the war against the nuclear upgrading of Iran. I don't know what happened to the Iraqi one, but this one, if the system is finished, there's supposed to be occupation. And what happens during occupation? We know. You can read from Iraq. Why don't people embrace this electric technology that has come? Because on December 25th, that was the day Christmas occurs, the day also my past dad was born on Christmas 25th. I was brought something to do with electricity. Look around those things, some of the things that, the videos that I have made, there are some with some things that can be able to be combined. I will not call them discoveries, I would say combinations that we are not using. And there was Jesus combination electric pack. Check it in the videos. It is something easy. You have electricity using a generator very easily, continuously. You don't need oil. It can be put in vehicles. It can be put in these other places. We have electric cars that are coming and are being charged. We have solar electricity nowadays, so efficient. Those near the ocean, electricity can be generated from the waves. Those near the wind, you can use the wind. Why don't we embrace electric energy? Get out of the oil economy so that we have parasols for the earth. It is for our own safety and the safety for the future of our children. Already, the Holy Books told us about Armageddon. In short, it was telling us you can be able to evade this. And it's only us who can bring Armageddon upon us or can evade it. As we pursue this place where we are moving from the oil economy, going to the pure electric economy, why don't we embrace the new technology quickly and leave the oil to be as parasols? Because these countries have made a lot of money. They can go electric anytime using whatever means that are there, not using oil. These other means are cheap. They are easy to make. You can go through mine, what I was given, and you can go through what is happening, because what I was given is just based on what has been discovered. It's just a combination of kits, a combination, a pack that can be able to generate electricity almost endless with what we have. Why don't we embrace this and get out of the oil economy that is bringing us conflicts? Maybe when we go electrical, many of these conflicts we are having will not be there, because we bring them in different disguises. But when you look deep inside, you find the end product is oil. So why don't we leave the oil in peace, in there? The technology is there. Electricity is there. There are many ways we can be able to generate. Why don't we upgrade this? Because the vehicles are out. The motorbikes are out. The buses are out. Many things are out that are using solar. They are using. Why don't we go electrical and give the world some peace? This could be the system that the Prophet Muhammad saw, Yajuj and Majuj, where things will come and they will take everything, drink everything, consume everything, and the earth will be finished by, those things will be finished by a virus, and they will all fall. What happens when there's skunking? The land that was above that oil, that has been left with a hollow place, come crashing. And when they come crashing, there's a lot of bad smell, which is not good for life. And things go haywire in those areas. Middle East countries. Maybe you've not been told. Maybe you know. Do you think skunking cannot be able to hit your place? That is a question. I understand there is a continent that has got oil, but it said no, we shall not exploit the oil resource because of skunking. There is. Find out which. So, you've been good to the world, you are being good to the world, but remember, you are leaving your place hollow. And from the drilling, they realized the temperatures are not the way they were. They were double by each place they were going. Up to a point where you find there is a place where you cannot dig deeper because the heat makes the metal become like spaghetti. So you cannot use it anymore. Which means you are put to an end. You cannot go deeper than there. And what if there are fiery beings programmed in there? like the seraphim and the others. Because now from the grimos, you realize what these things are. The other time we were talking seraphims in heaven, everything in heaven. But when you go to those things, you are now coming to realize they have got different meanings. Could we be exposing ourselves to that in our advancement? Because God and the earth, if we are a complete, successful God and enterprise, God will move us to the next. And the next is eternal. Eternal may be for a very long time, we don't know. So, as we are maneuvering from this delicate oil economy, let's be careful to embrace faith and take care of the way we interact with one another because of this resource. As we go to the other cheaper, easily available resource, electricity, let's embrace it quickly. The faster we do, the better for us. And let's keep the faith. A Muslim is not your enemy. A Christian is not your enemy. Somebody from Judaism is not your enemy. I told you who is bringing us all these things. Something from there. The first man, they call him what? Adam Weishaupt. That is where our problem is coming. You may see it as a Christian problem, as a Muslim problem, as a Judaism problem, but that's not where the problem is. Be on guard. Don't be cheated that you are fighting one another. Problem is from another side. People of the Abrahamic religion, keep your faith. People of these other visitations too, keep your faith. We are one. We are one. Precious before the sight of God. That is my take today. Embrace electrical energy. Forget about the oil economy. Those who have made money from it have made money. Move on now with electric. You have the money, you have whatever. That's my take for now.